Welcome back to episode 63 of Defeating Weekly. I'm your host, Craig Olson. Thank you for checking out this week's episode. Please feel free to share it with anybody you know that you feel could benefit from this information. Also, if you have any suggestions for future topics or possible guests, please reach out to me, send me a message. I'd love to hear your ideas and thoughts and hopefully be able to implement some of them. This week, I'm super excited as we are now in part 2 of the 15-week series based on my book, Defeating the Unbeatable. If you have not ever read the book, please reach out to me. They can be purchased through my website as well. And you order them through me, you get your special signed copy as well. Each week, we are going to be discussing one of the chapters and how they can be applied to our daily lives to help us defeat the week. This episode in this series for today will be on the topic of spring training. Now, spring training is the time of a baseball season that's kind of like the exhibition. It's that prep work right up to it. It's the season before the season. It's where baseball players start working on building up their stamina and working on new things prior to the actual season. It's an opportunity for them to try and fail with different things without it having ramifications for possible playoffs. It's an opportunity for younger players to try and make a name for themselves with hopes of joining the big league team. And for older veterans, it's a chance to slowly build back up their bodies to prepare to play maybe one more season. For us in our daily lives, this is often a time of stress and difficult decisions. For myself and Rachel, when she was battling cancer, this was the initial diagnosis stage and trying to figure out what we were supposed to be doing. We researched treatment options. We got unenrolled from college, decided that her best option was for us to move to Washington and have her get treated at UW. During this time, we also had some difficult decisions that had to be made about who we were going to have continually walk closely with us during this battle. This was extremely challenging for us because we had some really close friendships that had been built in Fargo. For others, this time may be making the decision of whether to take a new job in a different area or whether to start a family. It's this time where we're going through difficult decision making and weighing the options. Just like in baseball, as coaches are deciding who makes the team and then has to take those steps of sending other people back down to the minors or releasing them, we must make those choices in this stage of our lives. While I'm applying this to these big topics, we oftentimes experience spring training in our heads daily. The difference is in this is that most of those decisions we are not having as impactful of decisions being made. And so this process of spring training goes rather quickly. And oftentimes we've ingrained it so much in our brains, it feels immediate. In my book, I reference Gideon and his army, how he initially had 32,000 soldiers that he was taking into battle against the Midianites. However, God helped Gideon in his decision during this phase, spring training, and eventually ended up having an army of only 300. This was an extremely difficult situation for Gideon, as the Midianites had a much larger army than Gideon had ever even started with. However, by trusting God and making those difficult choices, he was able to go into battle ready and became successful. In the same way for us, spring training is what allows us to go into battle with the greatest confidence possible. So this week, as always, we've got some action steps for you. Number one, don't get down on yourself during spring training. This is a time of growing pains. You are learning something new or getting back in shape. You need to make sure you're giving yourself some grace. Number two, put in the time. The most successful players use spring training as an opportunity to get better, and they can only do this through practice. Even superstars choose something to work on each spring training to continue to improve, to try and get better. So use this time wisely. And number three, look to others with similar situations or goals that you have and how they successfully use spring training. Ask questions, take notes. Even people who are perennial all stars, ask questions of other players and coaches when they are learning something new. This week's quote, actually, I have two for you. Number one, the big problem in making the hard decisions has much to do with personal and professional well being of the person making the call. And that was by Chuck Martin. The other quote, remind yourself that you're bound to get better. Don't get down on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. It's the next opportunity that matters, not the last. And that was by Jim Rohn. So thinking about that one, that's such a powerful quote. We oftentimes worry so much about the past decisions, past things that happen, and we get bogged down with them. We should be learning from them and moving ahead. That one's past. We can use the information, but the ones coming are the important ones now. As always, I hope you guys take something great from this. I hope you have a great day and defeat the week.